Hi, I'm Dan Schmitt. I do a motorcycle racing TV show, Team Chicago Challenge. My email is teamdan45@gmail.com. My website is teamchicago.tv. So I'm at Cooch Fest. I'm in Three Oaks, Michigan, 90 miles from my home in Chicago. It's turned out to be a lovely day. Cooch is one of my oldest friends going back. I met him with the Toys for Tots. I've been involved with Toys for Tots.
And racing before
I've been involved with
Groton.
and racing, because he's good friends with the guys from Expert Cycle. So I'm looking at some footage. He's got some pictures of racing at Black Hawk Farms and Groton, and I was probably there shooting a TV show. So we're talking 1991, 1992. So we're having a good time here in Michigan. Don't forget my email, teamdan45@gmail.com. And you know I love to hear from my audience what you think of any of my TV shows. Now, I first met Bob Cooch Kuczera in the late 1990s when we'd come on the radio show, Open Road Radio, to promote the Toys for Tots Motorcycle Parade. And he would also attend the Legends Brunch to inform all of us racers about the Toys for Tots Motorcycle Parade. But first, I want to ask him about this British looking motorcycles built by Kawasaki. We're at Cooch Fest 2025. I did a TV show here a few years ago.
Correct.
And I noticed you got a Groton Raceway shirt on. Well, I'm so tied in with Groton Raceway. I could tell hundreds of stories about Groton Raceway.
Well, I wanted to take your classes at Groton back in the day when you were teaching racing.
I did the school.
Then I got involved in Toys for Tots.
All right. So this bike, I want to talk about this Kawasaki. It looks like a British motorcycle, but it's really sort of a copy of a BSA, correct? Are you aware of that?
No, I thought it was more a copy of a Triumph Bonneville 650.
Well, it is sort of, but the difference is, if we come over on this side, is that it's got an overhead cam driven, driven by a rod for the overhead cam, and that goes back to like Norton Max.
Oh yeah,
he had that kind of system.
Right.
So when you bought this bike, what did this bike sell for?
Well, what I ended up doing is I traded in my 1996 Bagger. I had a FLHT, and I bought it at South Suburban Triumph way out south. And I wanted to buy there was a Golden Jubilee that I saw at the International Bike Show. And basically the Golden Jubilee was a package that they put on a 2001 Bonneville. And the guy that I wanted to buy it from, he decided not to sell it to me. So somebody told me it was a kit. So I went out to Chicago Heights. They said they had a 2001 Bonneville and they would get me the kit to make it a Golden Jubilee. So I says, well, what would you take for a trade? They says, well, what do you got? So I got a 1996 FLHT Bagger. I'd like to trade that in for the Bonneville. And they said, that's not a problem. So when I went to pick up the bike, a guy brought this bike in. And it reminded me of a Silver Jubilee.
Yes.
So much of a Silver Jubilee. And I says, what would you take for two Golden Jubilee kits, the Kawasaki and the Bonneville? So I gave him my Harley back in the day, and it had 25,000 miles on it. Got two Golden Jubilee kits. Actually, I got a package in the bedroom. I should bring one out to show you the Golden Jubilee tank.
Right.
I got two kits, and then they had a fire, so there was no more kits available. And the guy rolls in this bike, and I says, what can I get this off for? So I gave my Harley and $1,500. Got this bike, got the Bonneville, two Golden Jubilee kits for a pretty nice deal.
Got a good deal. Okay, so how many bikes do you still own?
About 22.
Okay. Another question. How did you get involved with Toys for Tots?
Oh, God. That was probably in 1979 or 1980. It was my second time going there, and I got in an argument with this girl that I was living with, all right? And I says, well, I don't need her to go on the toy ride. So I went and got my Norton. I had a 1975 Norton back then. I went to Kmart on 51st and Kedzie, tradition. I bought a sports thing for a boy, or typically a basketball or football, and a Barbie doll for a girl.
Right.
So I went and got that, and I pulled in on 79th by Dan Ryan Woods, and this big burly biker comes up to me and goes, "Hey, dude, you always come on that Norton, don't you?" And yeah, I do. And he goes, what do you think about becoming a member? I go, "Well, how do you do that?" He goes, "Give me your name and number." And that's how I got started.
So what was the year of the first Toys for Tots?
1978.
And who started it?
Ed Amanowiczewski and 6 other people. Namu, Princess, Thor. Oh, I'm going to forget some of the names. Animal's wife, Carla, and Princess.
And the first Toys for Tots run, where did they start?
Well, they started at Ed's shop on 63rd and Maplewood.
Okay, and they rode to Glenview.
To Glenview Naval Air Station.
With a van with toys.
Yes.
And how many motorcycles?
1 motorcycle.
Okay, that broke down.
It broke down, and it was Ed's. I think it was Ed's bike, or I think the first bike was actually a Triumph, and the chain broke or something. And so Puppy stuck his arm out so that they could make it all the way to Glenview on a motorcycle. And
next to the van.
Next to the van. That was the first toy run out of Fantasy Chopper. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so what year was that?
That was 1978.
Okay, then you ran the run in 79 or 80?
1980, I believe.
80,
was my first
okay.
one.
And then so you joined the
Well, I
organization?
didn't join. It was actually going on a run by myself, and I think it was 81 when they were meeting at G Lumber on 79th Street. So it was probably 1979 was my first run that I went by myself because I had the 78 Bonneville, and then the second year I showed up again, and that's when I pulled in. They had to change it to depart out of Dan Ryan Woods. It couldn't meet on 79th Street anymore.
Right. Okay. And that would end at the Marine Base on Foster by Albany.
That's correct.
Okay. And then how did you get involved with, you became vice president. What year was that?
Oh, God. 1996, I believe. I became vice president. Well, I actually sat on the board for 12 years. So it was like 1995, 1996. Well, when I got involved, I was actually in charge of PR, but I wasn't a board of director.
Right.
Animal came up to me and he says, "I need somebody that knows how to talk to people. I'm going to put you in charge of public relations."
Right.
So it was me and the guy that used to work for the Chicago Tribune. We used to put together all the advertisements and stuff to promote the run. Oh, damn it, what was his name? He used to be a photographer for the Tribune. I'll think of his name in a second. But we became in charge of public relations. And then we had some issues going on, and somebody said, well, I couldn't be in charge of public relations unless I was a board of directors. So I had to run for a board of directors position. So I did that, and that's when we had a changing of the guard. And when Merle Brunel stepped down, he was in charge of PR. They put me in that position. And then in 1996, I became the vice president. And then I eventually became the president. I said I was doing all the work anyway, and I ran for the president in, what was it, 1996, 1997, became the president.
So how long were you president then?
4 years I was the president, but I was 6 years acting president because 2 of the years Tiger Mark was in Hawaii.
Oh yeah, Tiger Mark was the president before you.
Yeah, but...
Well, I was pretty good friends with Tiger Mark too.
But 2 years he went to Hawaii.
Right.
And so I was the acting president, and I said, if I'm going to act as president, I might as well be the president.
Right,
so
right.
I ran and I became the president for 4 years.
Okay, how did you get involved with the little motorcycles, the Hot Wheels? How did that Hot Wheel deal came about?
Well, that was kind of a guy that used to work for J.C. Whitney. His name was Bob Whaley, and he's a big Hot Wheel collector. And he actually was our store manager at the Warshawski store on Archer and State Street. So he approached me some years back when he was a representative from Mattel about putting together this Hot Wheel program for Toys for Tots. And it was a huge success. I think the first bike we did was 1998, and we sold 10,000 of them. I actually got them in here if you want me to bring one out.
Right.
We sold 10,000 of them in like 12 weeks, nationwide.
So what percentage of the sales did Toys for Tots, your motorcycle? We should stop right here. Toys for Tots Motorcycle Parade is a separate company or separate entity than the U.S. Marine Corps
Toys for Tots?
We are independent of the U.S. Marine Corps Toys for Tots
Right.
program out of Quantico, Virginia. But one of our 9 objectives is to assist the U.S. Marine Corps.
Right.
I mean, we should and we do when they ask us.
Right.
And the Hot Wheel thing caused us a little bit of a dilemma because Quantico wanted all the money. And that first year that we did it, I think we netted $75,000 to us. We bought $20,000 worth of toys, and we gave the Marines $20,000.
Right.
I mean, it was a huge success story.
So how many years were the...
4 years, 1998, 1999. Then I think because of an issue, we skipped 2000. We did 2001 and 2002.
Okay. And Andy was involved
Andy was in
with
charge
that.
of the Hot
He
Wheel
was the
Committee.
treasurer.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah. You needed somebody that could know how to count to 10. And,
And we should point out the money raised is you guys, Toys for Tots, buys toys.
right.
And you also distribute toys, not just in the wintertime, but I remember seeing a video with Bill Wilt that him and Santa go into hospitals.
Whenever there was a need, if they called us, we helped out. We
Right,
used to
right.
do the St. Joseph's Ride where we aided kids there at the orphanage on 35th and Lake Park. And with that Hot Wheel thing, that's how we started monetary distributions.
Mm-hmm.
One of the objectives says to aid others that could not seek financial assistance elsewhere.
Right.
So when we started, we would buy $20,000 worth of toys. We had $25,000 in cash. So we had $45,000. Now we got $75,000 left. So we said that's when we developed the Hot Wheel Committee.
Right.
And it was their job to find organizations that we could help out with. And we were given monetary distributions to Ride for Kids, the Little Angels Ride, to the Shriners, to veterans, to the Boy Scouts. And that's when we used to do a TV show with huge checks aiding all these charities.
Right.
So besides the toy distribution, we were aiding all these organizations that needed financial assistance with the success of the Hot Wheel Committee.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me change the subject a little bit. So this Cooch Fest originally started out as a softball team
Yeah.
picnic. So tell me a little bit about the softball team.
Well, softball and basketball. I had a team called the Untouchables, and we played in the city park leagues. Gage Park, Davis Park, Cornell Park. And we would say at the end of the year we got to throw a little party, just to thank all the guys that played on the teams. And so we used to do like 2 a year. We would do one in spring and then we'd do one in fall. It was called the Untouchables Picnic. And, over time we all got older, and I played till I was in my middle 40s. I was the pitcher captain of the Untouchables.
All right, being a pitcher, softball,
loved it.
how much of an arc does the ball have to be on?
Back then it was unlimited. And they used to
You could
come,
be any arc, but it had to be an arc. You couldn't.
big arc.
Right.
Back when they originally started,
Right.
They took the point of the plate, like the back point,
Right.
and the umpire would draw a 6-inch line behind that point. The ball could be dropped from an airplane, and if it dropped in the well, that was a strike.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't matter how. So I was great at that. I used to pitch palms up, and they used to call me, the Spanish guys used to call me the moonball pitcher. They used to be chanting on the side, moonball, moonball. And before the game would start, I would throw it up on the back, what do you call it? The
net.
cage.
Yeah, right.
I throw it up there intentionally just to have them all freak out. And they changed the game. Now you got to groove it in. It's 2 strikes, and they changed the whole sport of
Right.
the game.
Well, we were talking here at this time with your other teammates,
Yeah.
and back then, like I say, with motorcycle racing, I was so lucky to come through in the 1970s because there was many, and you guys could actually play a game every day of the week.
Oh God, we did. We were playing 5 nights a week. We
Right.
played, we played at Gage Park, Cornell Park, Davis Park, and we'd play 5 nights a week. We'd play tournaments on the weekends. We'd play like 7 or 8 games, Friday through Sunday. We used to play in the Alderman Burke tournament.
Right.
That was the biggest tournament on the Southwest side. A lot of money. All the big boys would beat her. The Bobcats, the Strikers.
So would they pay? Were some of them paid money?
Oh yeah. Well,
Oh, yeah.
they wouldn't admit it, but when you saw the guys sitting on the side with their coolers and they're whipping out the money, they're betting on the Bobcats and Strikers, and here comes Eddie Surma, the greatest center fielder in the world, with his bat in his bag. You knew he was getting paid. Oh yeah, there was a ton of ringers back for those tournaments.
So that really was a great era to be involved
Oh.
with softball
It was the best.
in Chicago. Chicago is the center of 16-inch
Oh, yeah.
softball.
Yeah, the softball tournaments at Grand Park with Mike Royko and everybody. We used to play in those tournaments. Those were fun weekends. You'd spend Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and it was a family thing. The people would bring out their coolers and picnic at the parks,
Right.
and then there was a lot of money. I mean, that was before casinos and stuff. Big money was, you'd see all the money being rolled out on the game. Big time. And then there was a lot of stuff, you know, when we used to play, there was guys that used to load up the bats, and loading up a bat meant they would drill
it down,
and put lead in.
put lead in, right?
And it was against the bat rules, but you could tell some of these guys when they would hit that ball, boom, it would just fly off the bat. You know, it's loaded up, man. There was one guy. Oh, I'm trying to think of his name. Penrod. He played with. Oh, it was a real good team out of Bridgeport. And we were getting down into the quarterfinals at Cornell Park, and I said, we can't get this guy out, but this is what we're going to do. We're going to play 4 outfielders. And back in the day, it was called the drag step. You could jump off the mound. I was pretty good at it, and I would do it so quick the guy would start arguing with the umpire. He took too many steps and then a fast pitch. So it was you could take 3 steps off the mound. So you go 1, 2, 3, and then I would run back and play short center. So the short center I put in the outfield. So against Penrod, we would play 4 outfielders against him.
Right.
And the only hit he got that day, because we had 4 outfielders on him, when he blasted one up by short center, and I couldn't handle it, you know. But this guy could jack a ball. I mean, these guys, they were hitting balls, you know, 375, 400 feet back in a 16-inch softball.
So if they were in a real baseball stadium, they'd be hitting home runs there too.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Right.
I mean, I don't know if you knew Cornell Park, but it was a big well, and the guys would be in, it was a big hole, and they would be hitting them basically from 49th Street to 51st Street and putting them on the street, you know? I mean, the guys from the Bobcats and Sobeys, I mean, they're
So the guys would have to go field them in the street sometimes.
practically, yeah, but you couldn't, because then you had to run up on the sidewalk or go into 51st. But there was only a few guys that could do that.
Right,
there was a
right.
couple guys that, it was amazing how far they could hit a softball.
So how many years did you play? You started
I played
in
until I
college. You went to Circle.
Well, I started playing when I was in high school with another team, and then I think it was about 73 or 74. I said, I'll just start my own team. I had enough friends, and the other guys, I don't know. I was a pretty good outfielder back in the day, and then I noticed that we weren't winning a lot of games, and I said, you know, I'm going to start pitching for fun. And then we started winning. I said, you know, this is a lot of fun. And I love teasing the batters. I got in so many arguments. I mean, they would be arguing with me before they even got up to bat. They'd say, you know, he throws it too high. And they'd be standing in the batter's box, and I quick pitch them, and umpire goes strike one. As long as you're in your batter's box, you could pitch them.
Right,
know?
right.
And then I would do the stupid stuff. I would run back this way, that way, and let them see if they could count how many steps I took, and they would argue about the steps. You know? But that's all the pitchers back in the day. That was
part of the game.
Yeah, it was part of the game. Big
Right,
time.
right.
I loved that sport. I really did.
Okay, Cooch Fest 2025.
Yeah. Well, thanks for coming out, Dan.
Back in 2021, we took a walk to the hardware store in town where Cooch keeps a couple of his motorcycles. And Cooch pulled out a copy of a letter from Burt Munro that talks about the movie The World's Fastest Indian.
This is a copy, when I was in Bonneville in Wendover, written from Burt Munro to his friend in Utah, telling him that he had trouble with his carburetors and flywheels, and telling the guy that's pictured in the movie that his wife should run for Miss Utah. Now, the guys from Utah heard that I was going to Wendover, and they knew, what was this guy's name? I'll find it here in a second. Dear Dorothy and family, Melvin. Melvin's son lived in Vail, Utah, and when they heard I was going to Wendover, I had the original letter, and I had that year all the guys that won in Bonneville, they autographed it. So I have that in my visitor center in Utah. But this is an original letter from Burt Munro in the movie World's Fastest Indian. So I kind of deciphered it. So if you ever seen the movie World's Fastest Indian, this is pretty cool. Dear Burt and Hazel, thanks for looking after me so well. I was 100 pounds overweight. I got here but got rid of 5 pounds. You sent me a letter last year. I received the picture. I told you it had not arrived, but it was here in the mail when it arrived about 2 weeks ago. I do not know if the one we talked about or the one you have sent since I left Granville, Utah. I was disappointed you and I were missing when I called to say goodbye and hope your surgery's over by now. Old Les is okay. That was a buddy of Burt Munro. He's a tough old bird and is used to being chopped up. I'm sending this letter to Melvin. I hunch he will see you and get it all right. As I'm writing him and sending to the local paper, he requested me to send him. Tell Cheryl, if you ever watched the movie with Burt Munro, he's kind of a professional ladies man. Tell Cheryl I think she should enter for Miss Utah and at least wish her good luck for me if she does. Thank you for your inquiry in my health. I've been long days on my engine and had a run with it. There was plenty wrong with it besides the seizure of both cylinders and pistons. Tell Glenn the worst was twisted flywheels and clutch wheels, etc. But I'm used to fixing it. If you've seen the movie, he was always working in the shed. Have lost count years ago the number of times I've busted it up. Yeah. Love to all your friends. Dearly, Burt Munro. Love and kisses for all the ladies. In Invercargill, New Zealand, October 19, 1971. Wow. And I had the original letter.
Yeah, wow.
The guy used to come up here. The guy used to come up here and see.
Who's it addressed to?
To his friend in Utah, Glenn Bollinger out of Granville, Utah. Because those were the guys that were helping him bring the bikes up to Wendover. Cool. The cigar smoking guy and the young man. Yeah. So I meet him by being in Utah.
That was Raleigh Free, the guy with the cigar, Raleigh Free.
Yeah, Raleigh Free. And so, okay, now this is the infamous Clive and Bundy turtle. I got to know graciously Clive and Bundy when some people got lost and we became friends. He autographs these for me every year. I take them to the Freedom Run. You'll love these pictures. First Amendment, Constitution.
Thank you, Cooch. And now we're going to talk to a flat track racer that raced at Santa Fe Speedway, and he was the 1965 Novice Champ. So let's talk to Curt Krause.
So how did you get into racing? What attracted you to Santa Fe?
I started out scrambling, and I was, I did enduros and that, and the club said, well, why don't you try the racetrack? Because you're going to get in trouble speeding around on the street. And that's actually saved my life.
So what club did you belong to?
The Cycle Kings. Chicago Cycle Kings.
And where'd you live back then?
Well, this was in Chicago.
Right.
Yeah, that's where I lived. And it was
where in Chicago? North side, south side?
Oh, south side.
Yeah.
I think we all lived on the south side, all of us in the club. Well,
in your club, right.
Right.
Because the guys from A Cycle World, which is on the northwest side, went to Santa Fe Speedway every Wednesday night. They had a couple guys racing out there.
I think Warren White used to work
Warren
there.
White was parts manager. Yeah. So what's the best you ever did at Santa Fe?
Let's see. I broke 2 fingers. I broke a leg. Oh, God, jeez. And this always happened before something good happened. I actually was track champion in '65.
You were the novice track champion.
Novice track champion.
In '65.
Right. And my best friend, Fred, he was the expert.
Fred.
He won that.
Freddie Nix.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, we used to pal around all the time.
Right. So we should point out that back in those days at Santa Fe, novice, juniors, and experts all ran together. Everybody had to qualify. So how many times did you qualify for the A program? Qualify for
Well, every time.
You did?
Yeah.
Okay, I never
had to sit on the
I
fence.
never did.
Although when they had the Nationals, everyone came. There was people all over the place.
Right. Well, they would get a good crowd also.
Yeah. They were all big-name people.
Well, I only...
Roder came. Riemann came. He was #1. And, Ronnie Rawl came. And you see all these people. You say, wow, there's Bart Markle. He shows up. My God.
Thank you, Curt. And now we're going to talk to Oscar Flores, who's a member of the Toys for Tots Motorcycle Parade and was also a customer at 4 and 6 Cycle on Kedzie Avenue.
Okay, so I'm with Oscar Flores, and you ride the Toys for Tots Parade every year, correct?
Yes, I'm a member too. Yes.
And you're a member of the club. So how did you get involved with the Toys for Tots?
I used to see him go by back in the early 80s when I got out of the Army. I dipped on Augusta and Campbell, and I always wanted to do that.
Oh, you lived on the north side back then.
Yeah.
What club are you in with now?
Widow Sons MRA. And, during the 90s, I was with Llama, Latin American.
Oh, yeah,
Motorcycle
right. Latin
Association.
American Motorcycle
We're on,
Club.
Division Street.
Right.
Yeah, we used to have the after parties after Toys for Tots Parade. We had a big
I
after
went to
party.
one of the after parties. That was a great time.
Thank you.
All right, so you mentioned when we were talking 4 and 6 cycle.
4 and 6, yeah.
All right, so 4 and 6 cycle, I have the complete history of 4 and 6 cycle. So what was your involvement with 4 and 6?
I used to go there for parts. One time I had my fork seals replaced. I brought the forks in. They did that. Mainly parts I used to go there for.
And they could do anything.
Oh, yes. Yeah, they did.
Okay, so Toys for Tots 2025 will be the first Sunday in December.
Yes.
We all meet at
I'll be there working the parking lot security.
83rd Street and Western Avenue.
Last few years I worked the parking lot, the security at the end.
Okay.
Well, it's not the right.
So you work with, you work at the north side.
The north end, yeah.
Oh, you're north side.
For
Okay.
the first few years I did the rolling blocker.
Right.
And then now I just do the parking lot. Yeah.
So the parking lot we should mention is Lane Tech, and DePaul
Yes.
Academy are up there at Roscoe and Western Avenue, and that's the end of the line. Thank you, Oscar. For more information on the Chicagoland Toys for Tots Motorcycle Parade at Chicagolandtft.org. Chicagolandtft.org. And I'm happy to report that I got permission from Roger Donalson on the telephone to use any footage from the movie The World's Fastest Indian. He was the producer of that movie. To contact me, and I love to hear from my audience, it's teamdan45@gmail.com. Remember, you can always search on YouTube with Dan Schmitt Motorcycle Racing for great motorcycle racing action, Dan Schmitt Politics, to learn what makes America great. And I highly encourage you to visit the World of Motorcycle Museum. They're in Winamac, Indiana, 4 miles south of North Judson on Indiana Highway 39. But give them a call first at 574-896-3172. It's a great trip and a great collection of motorcycles. If you want to pick up your Team Chicago history package, go to Rich's Yamaha in Lockport, Illinois. But give them a call first at 815-838-8130. Their website is richesyamaha.com. And if you want to learn everything there is to know about motorcycles, there's nothing like going to a swap meet. Here's a few dates of swap meets coming up: Springfield, Ohio, Shepherdsville, Kentucky, Woodstock, Illinois, Martinsville, Indiana, Woodstock, Illinois. Remember, walneckswap.com, walneckswap.com for great swap meets, and you will learn everything you need to know.